On the news tonight, state government pledges to partner federal government in healthcare delivery. Federal government set to restructure National Youth Service Corps. Organized labor stages protest over electricity tariff hike. Abroad, Kenya's new planned tax hikes spark widespread criticism. Hello, good evening. Thank you for joining us on Delta Television News tonight. My name is Onome Iyaruwe. The state government has pledged to partner with the federal government in advancing healthcare delivery in the state. Governor Sheriff Oborewori made the pledge during the commissioning of the College of Nursing Sciences Onichukwu in Anyocha North local government area as a satellite campus of the Federal Medical Center, Asaba. Ejimel Dweme completes the report.
Governor Oborewori commended a former minority leader of the House of Representatives, Honorable Ndudi Elumelu, who attracted the project, saying the nursing teaching facility would greatly enhance human capital development in the state's health sector. He said Delta State currently has 5 state-owned colleges of nursing, which could not absorb all qualified applicants, affirming that the new College of Nursing will provide adequate health care to host community and its environment. Governor Oborewori charged the Onichukwu community to reciprocate the gesture by protecting the school from vandals. He said his administration will support federal institutions in the state to promote growth and development, and later donated a 32-seater coaster bus to the college.
So you need to protect this facility. I know you're talking about having security. The security that is more important is when you have your people, the local vigilante. Now they are the people who can, if you bring a stranger to come and protect this place, they can't protect it. It is the people. It's like giving fish to the rat in the house to keep. So these local vigilante, please try as much as possible to protect this facility. On our part, we shall lend adequate support and collaboration to the new College of Nursing.
In his remarks, Honorable Ndudi Elumelu said the College of Nursing was one of the projects he attracted to Anyocha Oshimili Federal Constituency and challenged the students to maximize the opportunity to acquire knowledge to boost the manpower needs in the health sector.
Even though that I am not a sitting member, in this year, I've succeeded in injecting 1.2 billion in 2024 budget, meant to handle as follows: 100 million to rehabilitate the hospital in Onichukwu, 100 million to construct a bypass from that Pentecostal church straight to this college, agricultural produce to the less privileged women and youths, 100 million. Installation of solar street lights across my federal constituency, 600 million. Provision of fridges, generators, deep freezers for youths empowerment, 100 million.
The medical director of the Federal Medical Center, Asaba, Dr. Victor Osiatuma, thanked Honorable Elumelu for attracting the college to the state while in office and appealed for a borehole, adequate electricity supply, transportation, and security to boost the school's development. The representative of Onichukwu community, Chief Ephraim Osubo, described the project as an asset to the health sector and appealed to the state government to look into issues affecting the general hospital in their community. The governor later took a tour of the facilities in the school. Ejime Uduime reporting.
Tinubu has pledged to continue working towards ending gender-based violence and increase learning opportunities for girls in safe and conducive environments. Speaking at the launch of the Organization of African First Ladies for Development, President Tinubu emphasized the importance of education in empowering girls and promoting gender equality. President Tinubu, who lauded the First Ladies for the campaign launch, noted that it had been successfully launched in 15 other African countries, adding that its launch focus in Nigeria, titled Education as a Powerful Tool for Change, is critical for Africa's development. He said Africa must continue to create opportunities for all children to access quality education without leaving anyone behind, particularly the girl child. President Tinubu commended the African First Ladies for their commitment to advancing gender equality and narrowing the gender gap in opportunities and appointments across Africa. The president also commended his wife, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, the First Lady of Nigeria, for her efforts in championing education as a primary tool to advance gender equality. The Independent National Electoral Commission, the INEC, has said it will resume a continuous voter registration exercise in Edo and Ondo states ahead of the September and November off-cycle governorship elections in the two states. The chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, who discussed this today at a quarterly meeting of the commission with leaders of political parties, said the exercise, which is expected to begin on Monday, May 27, will end on Wednesday, June 5, 2024. Professor Yakubu said considering the time available for the exercise, the commission had decided that the registration would only take place at the ward headquarters and INEC headquarters in the state. He said those who are registered voters also have the opportunity to transfer their registration from one state of the federation to Edo and Ondo states, or from one location to another within the two states. The INEC chairman warned persons already registered as voters not to attempt to register again, as double or multiple registration is illegal, adding that lost or damaged voters' cards would be replaced during the exercise, though it does not require fresh registration. President Bola Tinubu has sworn in 2 additional federal commissioners of the National Population Commission, NPC, at the Council Chamber of the State House, Abuja. The swearing-in ceremony, held just before the commencement of the 5th Federal Executive Council FEC meeting of 2024, had Mr. Fashuwa Johnson, Ogun State, and Mr. Amidu Rahim, Osun State, sworn in. Their swearing-in came weeks after 17 of their colleagues took the oath of office in March. Meanwhile, the FEC also observed a minute's silence in honor of 2 former ministers, Education, Professor Fabian Osuji, and Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Bonaya Ono, before going into closed door. The meeting was attended by the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Dr. George Akume, the Chief of Staff to the President, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemieson, and other members of the Council. The federal government has said it will embark on a comprehensive review, restructuring and reform of the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, to meet with the demand of the future. The Minister of Youth Development, Dr. Jamila Ibrahim, stated this at the opening ceremony of the maiden meeting of NYSC management with heads of core producing institutions in Nigeria, held at the National Judicial Institute in Abuja. The minister also announced that over 5,000 core members will have their entrepreneurial ventures funded with up to 10 million naira. He said he would soon inaugurate a team to undertake the review, restructuring, and reforms of the NYSC, adding that the first of the reforms would be centered on reviewing participants with an entrepreneurship mindset and making skills development a core of the program. The president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, Comrade Joe Ajero, today led protests against the recent hike in electricity tariff at the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC's headquarters in Abuja. Workers under the umbrella of the NLC and the Trade Union Congress, TUC, stormed the offices of electricity distribution companies today to protest the Band A tariff hike. The The organized labor commenced the nationwide protests over the electricity tariff hike and removal of subsidy from the power sector by the federal government. The action of the labor union led to the shutdown of the Abuja headquarters of NERC, the Ministry of Power and State Offices of Power Distribution Companies, DISCOs. NERC had increased the electricity tariff for Band A customers at a press briefing in Abuja on April 3, saying those affected would pay 225 naira per kilowatt per hour, up from the previous rate of 68 naira per kilowatt per hour. You're watching the Delta Television main news. Up ahead, Kenya's new planned tax hikes spark widespread criticism. Details of this and other reports shortly after this break. Please stay tuned. Watching Delta Television main news. The global scene is next as we join our world news desk.
Plans to introduce new taxes and increase existing ones have triggered widespread criticism in Kenya. The price of bread is set to climb above the National Treasury proposed, removing the staple product from a value-added tax VAT exemption list. The cost of mobile money transfers, airtime, and data are also set to go up as the government seeks to raise an additional $2.4 billion in taxes in the financial year that starts in July. In the 2024 Finance Bill, published on Saturday, the government also proposed a new motor vehicle tax that will see drivers pay up to $750 annually to keep their vehicles on the road. The tax hikes are part of a series of financial measures introduced by President William Ruto's government in order to fund its extensive infrastructure and social programs. The move has generated sharp criticism, with politicians and human rights activists calling the taxes burdening. The opposition has threatened to mobilize protests across the country if the government went ahead with the new tax measures. Last year, the government introduced several taxes, including a controversial housing levy, despite widespread objection from some Kenyans. Lithuania's president and prime minister will face off in the second round of the Baltic states presidential vote on May 26, after the incumbent failed to win an overall majority in the first round yesterday. With all the ballots counted in the Baltic states, which was once part of the Soviet Union, President Gitanas Nausėda was ahead with 46% of the vote, while Prime Minister Ingrida Simonet had 16%. The election has been dominated by fears over neighboring Russia, and all the main candidates in the vote agreed that the NATO and European Union members should boost defense spending to counter the perceived threats. Opinion polls in the run-up to the vote gave Mr. Nausėda a comfortable lead over the other 7 candidates, including Mr. Simonet and prominent lawyer Ignas Vegeli. Chad's interim Prime Minister Success Masra has filed a petition at the Constitutional Council challenging the preliminary results of last week's presidential election. His boss, General Mahamat Debi, was declared winner with 61% of the vote, but Mr. Masra considered himself to be the true victor. The opposition figure and his Transformers Party said the results should be annulled alleging that some ballot boxes were stuffed and others were carried away by soldiers to be counted elsewhere. Some opposition members have been arrested, while Mr. Masra and his supporters have been threatened. However, Mr. Masra reiterated that his followers remained peaceful for the love of the country, insisting that the change they want to see could not happen in a destroyed country. Shortly before the election results were announced, Mr. Masra had urged his supporters to mobilize and hold peaceful demonstrations in order to defend their votes. The Constitutional Council is set to decide in the coming days whether to uphold the preliminary results or annul them, as requested by Mr. Masra and Yassin Abdurrahman Sakin, another candidate who lost the election. Even though the council is yet to confirm Mr. Deby as Chad's new president, some heads of state such as Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu and Guinea-Bissau's Umaru Sissoco Embalo have already congratulated the military leader.
And back home, the need for youth in the state to identify digital knowledge as the premises for entrepreneurial skill that will make them self-reliant to better the society were the crux of the message at the grand finale of a 3-month free digital skills training and empowerment program organized by the member representing the Oshimile North constituency in the State House of Assembly, Honorable Frank Esenwa. Henry Osiayo completes the report.
Addressing the beneficiaries at the closing ceremony of the 3-month digital skills training with theme Prepare for the Future, Honorable Esenwa said that the program was designed to equip and empower the youths with digital knowledge, as the role of digital knowledge as a major driver of the economy cannot be overemphasized. He noted that in line with the more agenda of the state government, which includes opportunity for all, the program was a way of delivering the dividends of democracy to the people of Oshimile North.
It's part of trying to key into the governor's agenda of doing more things. The past government have done their bits, people who have come before me have done their bits. We need to also do ours and do more than they have done. That's the prayer of everybody.
The lawmaker emphasized that there was a need to leverage digital knowledge to curb the recurring menace of unemployment among youths in the state, and especially his constituency.
It's a pity. We need to see how we can grow out of that. But it starts with things like digital education. So begin to see how you can apply digital knowledge to improve things, to bring value to the table. You must bring value to it. You must tell yourself that, look, I want to change the environment. I want to take over my environment.
Earlier, the chairman organizing committee of the Digital Skills Training and Empowerment Program, Comrade Ophilid McDonald, said that training was put together to ensure that beneficiaries will not only be self-reliant but employers of labor in the future. Comrade Ophilid revealed that only few out of the numbers of applicants that began the process made it to the end, and thanked Honorable Esenwa for the initiative.
Relatively, we must note the extensive and valuable resources put in place to see that the youth of our local government finds a favorable living condition, which will help to keep them abreast with global transformation and renewable energy.
There were goodwill messages from the Ogwani of Obanam Kingdom, Dr. Michael Mbanefo, the State Commissioner for Science and Technology, Mr. Daniel Odinigwe, who was represented, among others.
All you can do to register the name of the someone in Diamond is to carry out exactly the goal of the program impacted in Lagos.
We are not just empowering you youth here with skills, but we are investing in your future.
Some beneficiaries thanked Honorable Esenwa for the gesture and promised to utilize the knowledge gained during the training to start up their digital journey.
So, because of the training, I was exposed to a lot of tools that has propelled me to where I am now. Very big thank you for this opportunity. This is beyond what I expected.
Thank you for believing in the youth.
The grand finale of the 3 months free digital skills training and empowerment featured practical presentation by beneficiaries, as well as presentation of laptops to 30 successful beneficiaries. Henry Usiayu reporting.
The Rotary International has reiterated its resolve to do more humanitarian services in Nigeria in order to create hope and meet the needs of the citizens. The president's nominee of the Rotary International, Mr. Mario Cesar Camargo, stated this at the District 9141 Annual Joint Conference held at the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN State Secretariat in Asaba. Henry Usiayo completes the report.
Mr. Cesar urged Rotarians to contribute to the growth of the club by enhancing membership drive that will help the development of the country.
We create hope in the world by growing our membership base. And I've seen some of the projects here, you really need Rotary here. So membership will allow us to do more. And you guys are doing your homework. There are some regions in the world that are growing.
In his address, the Rotary Club District 9141 Governor, Mr. Emeke Utebo, said, with their theme, Creating Hope in the World, members of the club will strive to give hope to people and put smiles on their faces.
My dear friends in service, it is not over until 30th of June 2024. So, let us continue to create hope in the world with appreciation by giving first to the Rotary Foundation, don't stop giving, and growing our membership, keep inviting people to join Rotary.
In his remarks, the Commissioner for Primary Education, who stood in for Governor Sheriff Uborewori, charged the Rotarians to create opportunity for growth for all Nigerians and use the platform of the club to continue to champion issues that will engender peace and harmonious relationship in Nigeria.
On behalf of the Delta State Government, we welcome you to Delta State for the 2024 Joint District Conference.
The District Governor 9141 elect, Mr. Chinedu Ikegwani, while addressing members after he was unveiled as the next District Governor, assured them that with their cooperation, the Rotary Club will create magic that will put smiles on people's face.
This district is blessed with resources, and we can't afford to do what? To take a back step. So, my dear friends, with all this, I accept confidently to serve as the District Governor 2024-25, and at the same time to take our dear district to a better height.
The Joint District Conference featured a lecture on data collection, integrity and analysis delivered by the Director General of the Nigeria Population Council, NPC, Dr. Tessin Ojofu, as well as a tour around various towns showcasing projects executed by some Rotary clubs. Awards were also presented to deserving members of the club for their contributions to the growth of the club and humanity at large. Henry Usiayu reporting.
Business News Desk for happenings in the business sector.
President Bola Tinubu has asked the Central Bank of Nigeria to suspend the implementation of the controversial cybersecurity levy policy and ordered a review. This followed the decision of the House of Representatives, which last Thursday asked the CBN to withdraw its circular directing all banks to commence charging a 0.5% cybersecurity levy on all electronic transactions in the country. The CBN on May 6, 2024, issued a circular mandating all banks, mobile money operators, and the payment service providers to implement a new cybersecurity levy following the provision laid out in the Cybercrime Act 2024. According to the Act, a levy amounting to 0.5% of the value of all electronic transactions will be collected and remitted to the National Cybersecurity Fund overseen by the Office of the National Security Advisor. Financial institutions are required to apply the levy at the point of electronic transaction origination. The deducted amount is to be explicitly noted in customers' account under the descriptor Cybersecurity Levy and remitted by the financial institution. All financial institutions are required to start implementing the levy within 2 weeks from the issuance of the circular. The federal government said it is working on providing tax relief to 95% of the informal sector of the economy. The chairman of the Presidential Fiscal Policy and the Tax Reform Committee, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, stated this at the closing session of the committee in Abuja. Mr. Oyedele said this would be achieved through the exemption of businesses earning 25 million naira a year or less from the various taxes hindering their progress over time. He said the new reform being proposed would focus on the top 5% of that sector, the middle class and the elite for taxes. Mr. Oyedele said the committee was drafting the law to effect the necessary changes in the fiscal policy and tax reform ecosystem of the country. No compliance, he urged all stakeholders to fully cooperate with the government in implementing a new fiscal and the tax policy that would be used for the general good of the citizens. He explained that some of the taxes complained about by Nigerians were those already in the constitution, which the committee had looked at and called for their review. Nigeria will next month play host to the Canadian Trade Mission. Other countries are expected to sign Memorandum of Understanding and other bilateral agreements ahead of the visit. Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, who is currently in Canada on a working visit, is scheduled to meet with Canadian top officials. The minister would be engaging with various critical stakeholders while in Canada to strengthen bilateral relationship with that country. Abdulkadir also stated that Tuga met with the Canadian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Melanie Joly.
What's news? Finidi George has been unveiled as the new head coach of the Super Eagles. The 53-year-old coach was unveiled at the Secretariat of the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, today in Abuja. The sports minister, Mr. John Eno, the NFF president, Ibrahim Mr. Gusso, and the Secretary General of the Soccer House, Mr. Mohammed Sanusi, were among the dignitaries that were present at the unveiling ceremony. The unveiling, which kick-started Finidi's reign in charge of the three-time African champions. The former Ajax and Real Betis winger was an assistant to former handler of the team, Jose Pesero, for 20 months. He handled the Super Eagles as caretaker coach for the friendlies against Ghana and Mali in March. Meanwhile, the Super Eagles head coach, Finidi, had picked two foreigners and his former international teammate, Daniela Mokachi, as his assistants. The names of the two foreign assistants will be revealed before the Super Eagles 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying fixtures against Bafana Bafana of South Africa and the Squirrels of Benin. Finidi has also trained Olatunji Baroa as the goalkeeper's trainer. Baroa occupied the same position under the previous head coach, Jose Pesero. Finidi officially left his post as Eyimba head coach on Sunday to concentrate on his new job. In a related development, the Super Eagles will now report to camp on Tuesday, May 28, for their 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying fixture against the Bafana Bafana of South Africa. The players were earlier scheduled to arrive camp on Saturday, June 1. The team will now converge on Uyo 3 days earlier to begin preparations for the crucial fixture. The coach, Finidi George's side, will take on Bafana Bafana at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, Uyo, on Friday, June 7. They will also be up against the Squirrels of Benin a few days later. The Super Eagles sit in third position in Group C with 2 points from 2 games. Rwanda occupied top spot in the group with 4 points, while South Africa second with 3 points. That's the size of our bulletin for tonight. Next is the thought. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. to end Delta Television main news, a recap of the major stories we brought you. The state government has pledged to partner with the federal government in advancing healthcare delivery in the state. Governor Sheriff Oborewo made the pledge during the commissioning of the College of Nursing Sciences on Nichuku in Anyocha North as a satellite campus of the Federal Medical Center, Asaba. The federal government has said it will embark on a comprehensive review, restructuring and reform of the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, to meet the demands of the future. The president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, Comrade Joe Ajaero, today led protest against the recent hike in electricity tariff at the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC headquarters in Abuja. And plans to introduce new taxes and increase existing ones have triggered widespread criticism in Kenya. The price of bread is set to climb after the National Treasury proposed removing the staple product from a value-added tax VAT exemption list. So much for Delta Television News tonight. On behalf of the news editor and the production team, this is Onome Iyarowe thanking you for watching. Do have a beautiful night rest.